I finally played Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and so get your ass ready for a cheekily smirking, android slicing, child brain harvesting episode of No-stalgia. The year is 2013. Vine was in the peak of its powers, having most of the under 30 crowd captivated by 6-second clips of, well, the exact same shit we spend about 60 seconds looking at now. And they say our attention span has decreased. The Queen Bee herself gave us an all-time great Super Bowl halftime show that pretty much killed the power to the whole place. And Miley Cyrus couldn't stop shaking her ass, much to the chagrin of many. Word is, somewhere in America, Miley Cyrus is still twerking. But I digress. The 7th generation of consoles was nearing its final breath, with the doomed Wii U already on shelves before the year began, and the PS4 and Xbox One looming very, very large. Some of the best looking and playing PS3 and Xbox 360 games were due that year. The type of send-off a fantastic generation deserves. I didn't really play a whole lot of the 7th generation of consoles. We had a PS3 and I even had a PlayStation Portable that I played a lot of: Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, Jeanne d'Arc, War of the Lions, Luminous. But I could feel myself pulling away from games in general during that time frame. It wouldn't be until Bloodborne single-handedly pulled me back into gaming on my newly purchased PlayStation 4 a few years down the road that I'd become the gamer again that you all see before you, which is a really big reason that I missed out on so many great 7th generation games during that time period. So if you think that maybe I missed one of your favorites, go ahead and throw a Hail Mary up and comment down below. I'll let you know if I have or haven't. And here we are. Right alongside the PS4's announcement in February of 2013, a little gem known as Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance was released on February 19, 2013. Now, is this game worth, I don't know, losing an eye over? Let's go ahead and find out. Hideo Kojima is a creator that needs no introduction. When you think of Metal Gear, you probably think of characters like Solid Snake, Otacon, Revolver Ocelot. But before them, I bet the master himself pops into your head. The master of the gaming arts that brought us Snatcher, Zone of the Enders, and of course, one of the most well-known and beloved franchises of all time, Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid. He had last given us Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots in 2008, and swore off working on the beloved series moving forward. At E3 2009, however, he announced he had signed on to executive produce 2 more Metal Gear spin-off games, the PSP-bound Metal Gear Peace Walker and the titular game of this video. While Hideo Kojima was much more involved in the creation of Peace Walker because he felt that team needed him, our ninja cyborg buddy Raiden was in pretty good hands. Kojima Productions had started working on the game in 2009, but shortly realized that the amount of swordplay was a little bit outside of their comfort zone. So he went ahead and he called in the big guns, or I guess big swords in this case, Platinum Games. Oh yeah, that Platinum Games. And man, if you've never played a Platinum produced game, I am so sorry. Their name precedes themselves with a few of the most innovative and landmark combat systems ever printed on a disc to their names. Games such as Vanquish, Bayonetta, and Nier Automata need little introduction. So even from my vantage point, this game seemed like a dream come true for someone who absolutely loves slick, action-heavy games like Devil May Cry. And my God, this game, dude, this game is fucking nuts, bonkers, just absolutely crazy. Now let's just go ahead and get the storyline out of the way. Honestly, I loved it. It's just so campy, silly, and over the top and absurd. I mean, it's exactly what you would expect from a game that burst forth from the prodigious loins of the Metal Gear Solid franchise. So 4 years after the events of Metal Gear Solid 4, in the far distant future of 2018, we are plopped down into the madness. You play as Raiden, a character familiar to many of those who have played Metal Gear Solid 2, but this Raiden is different, very different. He's very much cooler than you probably remember. He's now a cyborg and a member of a private military company known as Maverick Security. PMCs have become incredibly dominant and powerful in this version of 2018, and Raiden is part of the machine, a pun absolutely intended. You are initially sent on a mission to protect the African Prime Minister while keeping the peace in the typically war-torn African states. Your convoy is ambushed with a powerful cyborg known as Sundowner murking the Prime Minister. This cheeky fuck Jetstream Sam absolutely obliterates you, taking your arm and your eye in the process. Now some time passes and Raiden is now even more machine, with lots of cybernetic enhancements. He discovers that the Desperado enforcement is behind a nefarious plot to start a world war to grind the gears of the war machine by abducting children and turning their brains into cybernetic parts. Did I mention a good portion of this game takes place in Denver? Yeah, like Colorado. I mean, like, I know they smoke a little weed out there, but this seems a little intense. You would think that'd bring them down, right?
Why are they taking brains?
Raiden goes rogue after seeing what is truly happening, as he believes he's the only one who can stop him. He deals with his fair share of torment as he comes to grips with why he does what he does, and reawakens Jack the Ripper, the bloodlusted version of himself. As the story progresses, Raiden must face off against the leader of the Desperado enforcement himself, Sundown, in a showdown that determines the fate of the world. Wait, what?
What happens in 3 hours?
Oh fuck, there's Jetstream. Is he a good oh damn, is that a senator? How is Armstrong so damn strong? Oh,
Nanomachines, sir.
oh yeah, this shit is wild, just so wild. It's so campy, the dialogue is cheesy, tongue-in-cheek, and just verbosely overwrought philosophical musings that it's so fun and so stupid in the most incredible way. I just love the story. For someone that hadn't played a big console Metal Gear Solid game since he sort of finished Snake Eater, seeing Raiden like this was just such a great surprise. You will not want to skip these cutscenes because they are absolutely just insane. You can feel Bayonetta's DNA deep within this game. I mean, just look at this kick. Speaking of kicks, let's go ahead and get into the good shit, okay? This combat system is some of the absolute best I have ever played. I'll get my little qualms out of the way first because from there, it's pretty much all positives. Running is unwieldy at times as your ninja run has Raiden vaulting awkwardly in places. The enemy variety is a bit wanting. QTEs are largely unnecessary, but hey, sign of the times. The camera sucks, like truly, it sucks. We shouldn't take the types of cameras that we have in modern games for granted, because this one loves to get stuck just absolutely everywhere. The stealth seems pretty unnecessary and I think is only there because it's a Metal Gear game. Like, I literally never stealthed because why would I? I want to slice things, man. I want to slice shit into half and quarters and whatever the fuck segment 89ths are. Like, cut, slice, and then fucking grab their spines and The basics are simple. You have light and heavy attacks that can be linked together, a jump, access to some sub-weapons such as homing missiles and grenades, a ninja run that lets you swat bullets away like mosquitoes, and most importantly, you got blade mode. Now, blade mode lets you slice the ever-living shit out of everything that exists. You can cut limbs off, cut out spines, or just make a little origami with your opponents. It all feels so buttery smooth, and as you continue to buy new upgrades and weapons, though I suggest maybe skipping secondary weapons because they take up your entire heavy attack spot, you will find yourself feeling like an absolute badass, hopping between enemies, yelling at them to get off! off their own electrolyte fluid-filled spawns. You upgrade yourself and your weapons with BP that you earn as you play through the combat segments and are ranked, as well as pickups you can find. And then you use that to purchase new moves and aesthetic stuff like your armor. Finally, there are VR missions you can find throughout the regular stages that give you a bit more to continue playing post-credits, as well as offer up some small rewards via an image gallery. Now, 10 years later, this combat is just perfect. It's perfect. It really is. Or as close to perfect as one could consider. The physics, the speed, the precision of everything. If all you care about is fun fighting in these games, I will say no more. Tell you to head on over to Steam right now to pick it up. Oh yeah, I'm playing this on Steam as well since it's still stuck on 7th generation consoles, unfortunately. Can we get a remastered version or even a remake, Konami? Now I assume that might be difficult considering all the players involved, but anyway. Combat is a 10 out of 10, period. Like, just play it, seriously. I won't gush too much, but I feel this could be a lock for Platinum's best combat system. At least out of the games that I've played and finished, which do include Bayonetta 1 and 2, Nier Automata, and a couple others. Now the graphics also hold up pretty damn decently. The character models look surprisingly good. Animation is great both in combat and out of combat. There's some really hilarious, silly, and endearing animations in these cutscenes. My only issue with the look of the game was a lot of the backgrounds. They look pretty muddy and washed out with lots of browns, grays, and blacks. Gotta love that 7th gen sludge look. There are a few standout locales though. I really did enjoy the Japanese garden, for instance. The look of the game is still really solid and will probably not damper your feelings towards it overall, as it looks good and moves super smooth on even modest hardware. And then there's the sound. Oh lord, the sound. If you recognize the not one, but 2 songs sampled in the instrumental you hear that I produced, comment down below and give yourself 6 high-frequency blades. The music in this game is a marked departure from the typical Metal Gear fare. While you do have the usual big orchestral moments with swelling string sections, driving percussion, and that signature bombast, this game leans heavy into a bit of the DMC sound design. Lots of rock, both with and without vocals, that is hard to not get your blood just absolutely boiling. The boss fights love to have the vocal lines kick in near the very end of the fight, which will send your hype through the roof. Now, this is not my usual genre, and when faced with producing something like it, I was kind of left scratching my head a little bit, so I went with a bit more of the standard Metal Gear Solid tunes vibe. But while you won't catch me sitting around and listening to Revengeance's soundtrack, you best believe it works beautifully in the moment-to-moment gameplay. And all that doesn't even mention the voiceover work from so many talented voice actors with credits that include properties such as Naruto, the Arkham games, God of War, as well as lots of anime and movies that I don't even recognize. The voice work from each is superb, with personal standouts being Quentin Flynn as Raiden, Michael Beatty as Blade Wolf, and Alistair Duncan as the nano-machined senator himself. Now the sound effects also do a great job conveying the energy of combat and movement, but don't come across as necessarily incredible or stand out too much. Best in class combat, visuals that hold up, audio that will make you want to slice through an entire army of cyborgs, a campy tale that deserves to be viewed with some popcorn, and a bunch of memorable characters to entertain you. You might be wondering, is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance still worth playing today? I think you know what I'm gonna say. This is absolutely worth the pickup right now. Even if the future it was set in has long since passed, this game feels ahead of its time in so many ways. And it seems the internet agrees with me. Just look at these Metacritic numbers. An 83% from critics and an 8.2 from over 1,000 metalheads just like me. Now, if you have a PS3 or Xbox 360, feels like an easy choice. Buy it in a bargain bin somewhere for cheap and it'll be well worth your time. If you have a PC that can run it, which will probably be most PCs made in the last few years, also an easy choice. In fact, playing Revengeance is pretty much always an easy choice, considering you can slice.
I understand your attempts at humor. I simply do not find them entertaining.
Through it in about 5.5 hours if you're quick. There's very little reason not to give this one at least a quick whirl. It It absolutely gets a
batshit insane
out of 10 from this guy. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share, and comment down below if there are any other Metal Gear games that you think I missed that you'd like to see me play right here. Also, that tune you hear was produced entirely by me. In fact, I produce every song on this channel, and apparently I don't do a good enough job explaining that. So unless it's noted, I made it. You can go ahead and search The Gamersician on the streaming platform of your choice and enjoy my latest album, Plug and Play, a compilation of my entire first year on YouTube's music for you to enjoy. New music is coming very soon, so keep your eye out on the community tab for more details on that. Thanks again, and until next time, don't fight any cyborgs that have gun blades. It's a pretty good chance you're gonna lose your arm. Just a little bit of advice. Peace.